Maybe some.
What about now? Still low?
Price.
I don't know. It's okay. It's a small room. I have a big voice. You know, I don't need a microphone.
Everything, what we call it.
Amazing.
He would bring any other like respect. I was expecting that.
Hello. All right. Not very good at this. No, I'm just kidding. No, thanks everybody for coming today. My name is Kelly McGrath, and today, basically what we're going to be doing is talking about branded ads in gaming, and like why there's a shift there, how brands are taking notice, how they're increasing their budgets, how it's advantageous for you as game developers or publishers, and kind of the takeaways for the rest of the day. But yeah, I'm supposed to wait maybe like 2 more minutes for the intro on the other one that they're clapping for. Maybe it's done. And maybe a couple people trickle in, then we'll kick off.
Yeah, just show them probably the soft launch of the latest game. I think else I would do maybe a few different out-of-box ideas for free. The most. And we'll see. I'm trying to expose like hyper casual-ish creatives. But you were kind of shy.
I think that's going to be everybody today, so let's kick off. So first, of course, the shameless plug. So yeah, Ogury is we're a privacy-focused, like privacy-first type of company, and we're really focused on branded advertising and gaming, and we do this across mobile. And we do this across mobile web, but more specifically, and like more of the revenue is flowing towards in-app right now. And the majority of that, of course, is going to gaming. So myself, my name is Kelly. I'm VP of Global In-App Supply. So my responsibilities are taking care of everything from publisher development and publisher success in the in-app space for Ogury. I've been living in Berlin for 7 years, so I need people from Berlin. Wow, okay, hey, we got 3. I was like, no way. All right, so we have 3 or 4 people here, that's great. I'm not doing the presentation in German, mostly because I don't think anybody knows it, and second of all, because I definitely don't know it. So brands taking notice. I could tell you how brands are spending more in gaming and just kind of tell you all these colloquial things, but we just really wanted to cite some data and cite some reports. And so the first one is from the IAB. And basically, there was $8 billion spent in 2022 in gaming environments. And the projection is $14 billion for 2025 for specifically branded advertisements in gaming in the mobile space. And as you can see, that's a tremendous amount of growth predicted from now until 2025 and beyond. Because brands are really starting to take notice about how important the gaming environment is, how it's not just me playing Counter-Strike in the basement, drinking Mountain Dew throughout my high school years. Like it's everybody in this room, right? I see nice types of clothes. There's people that are driving cars. They have nice watches. Like the gamers aren't just teenagers, right? Like the personas of all these users of gaming are people that have money that can spend on the brands that the brands are wanting to advertise to. And so we also see that 25% of in-game ad spend from automotive brands has been increasing. And that just kind of goes back to what I was saying is an automotive brand is going to spend to 12 to 15 to 16-year-olds, like they're not going to buy a BMW, they're not going to buy a Mercedes-Benz. Maybe they will. I definitely wasn't. But we have a lot of users, and the automotive industry has taken notice of it, that it's worth investing a lot more money on advertising on in-game environments because there's users there. There's personas there that they want to go after. And we also saw that 62% of non-gaming brands are now incorporating gaming ads into their digital strategies. So as before, they might be focused more on like how can we advertise to users, in news apps or in sports apps that we stereotypically think are the users that we want to spend to, and they've started to realize that hey, all those users are still, in our game players, our gamers. Like this as well. So it's a booming landscape. right? 93%, which is a tremendous number. That's more than statistically significant, of major consumer brands are making sure that they're advertising in gaming right now. And it's only going to increase. You know, we think that it's probably going to be 100% someday because everybody will see what their competitors are doing and they're going to want to do it as well. And I think another really strong number is that 75% of, I thought it was different, 75% of global brands also plan to keep increasing their spending. So not only are they like dabbling in it, not only are they testing it, but it's something that they see success in, and they want to continue to increase their budgets. So that's why, you know, those are just some like strong signals of how brands are starting to increase their spend, how they're taking more notice of gaming. Like, what does that mean for a lot of you in the crowd? What does that mean for publishers? How can you take advantage of $18 billion in 2025 of a brand spend? And they see in-game environment, the in-game environment is really important for three main things. And this is how it kind of differentiates yourselves from news publishers and from mobile web, where a lot of spend used to go, is higher attention, higher viewability, and brand safe and premium environments where you're like capturing the user's attention a lot more. So the first one is just more engaging ads. Right? Like I'm sure you use apps, you play games, you read news, and when you're scrolling, you'll see an ad in the middle of an article that freezes for a little bit. You might see like a pop-in from the side, like maybe like a thumbnail or something that plays a video. Maybe the audio starts and you had it off. And so like the mobile web types of ad formats are just a little bit more intrusive and kind of like not as expected by users all the time, as opposed to you know, game players that are used to an interstitial after a level, where they're used to being able to watch a rewarding video to get more currency or to have like an extra life or to double the rewards, you know, whatever that may be. In-game users are a lot more used to and therefore are a lot more engaged with the types of viewable formats that are available in gaming right now, which are full screen. Of course there's banner, of course there's some MPU in gaming, but the majority of the time you're going to see rewarded video, and you're going to see interstitial, which are full screen, highly engaging, and I mean, to be honest, on the brand side, brands know they can make it look a lot better, right? You're not going to see the same, and I hope nobody from the company's here, but you're not going to see the same Gardenscapes ad, you know, 50 times in a row, right? You're not going to see the same Scopely Monopoly Go ad 50 times in a row. Game publishers can take advantage of it, and brands take advantage of it, of making sure that the user doesn't have ad fatigue. I don't talk about ad fatigue by seeing too many ads at once. I'm talking about seeing different ads, right? I'm talking about seeing ads that are a little bit more tailored to the user. And unfortunately for myself, even though I work in the industry, I still fall for it. I still click a lot of branded ads because I do like seeing things that are like that I could buy, that might be interesting to me, that might fit my persona. And I think the other thing, or not I think, but actually the other thing statistically that in-game advertising that doesn't translate over to mobile web in other environments, other digital environments that brands are looking at, is that most of the time, in-game, specifically in-app gaming apps, have these main things, right? Gaming doesn't have as much fraud as utility apps, as other types of apps. Data safety, we're kind of reached that point where everybody has to have a CMP in place at this point, right? Whether it's through GDPR, whether it's through CCPA, whether it's through another state with another privacy policy that's coming up. You know, gaming publishers are following that, and brands take notice. They like making sure that their brands are being placed in places that are compliant. We also have brand safety, which is a little bit different than like brand suitability, which I'll get into in a little bit. And we also have viewability, and that's kind of what I talked about before, which is, you know, full screen ads. Right? We're not talking about 15-second banner refresh, you know, where the viewability is very, very low for those advertisers. We're talking about the full screen, really interactive ads. And so this is the difference between brand suitability and brand safety. And it's actually a question we get asked a lot about, and I'm sure other branded ad networks also get asked a lot about. It's like, what's the difference and why is it important? And actually I'll start at the bottom with brand safety. And that's kind of like more blanketing. That's kind of more overarching. And it's, you know, an example would be like violence, right? Like maybe some brands majority of brands globally don't want to have their ads shown on something that's tagged as violent content. And so how's that a benefit for gaming? Of course there's like FPS type of games, of course there's like war simulation, there are types of genres that might fall into that category, but it's a lot better for a brand to advertise in gaming than it is for a brand to advertise in like a user-generated content app, right? Whether that's social, where they only do that now because they're still able to target a lot, whether it's news, where we've seen actually brands shifting a lot of their budget from news over to gaming, because they can't control what's being shown there, right? The world's a messed up place. And so a lot of the news stories that are showing up there, brands might not feel like they have brand safety for. So that's brand safety. And that's where gaming kind of succeeds, is they know exactly what the content is of the app. They know exactly the genre of the game that's being shown, and they don't really have to worry about something popping up that they weren't really ready for. And the difference that kind of layers on top of it is brand suitability. And so another example would be, let's say there's a gin company, right? Maybe a gin company is okay with their ad being shown on a sports app, like a sports game, on a hyper-casual game, on a simulation game. The gin company doesn't care as long as like they're meeting the legal requirements, where they're showing that ad to the right majority of an age group that's over a certain amount based on the country they're in. That's fine. That's brand suitable for them. But maybe like a CPG company of Gerber baby food, maybe it's American, I don't know, or like baby products, is not suitable to be shown in like a first-person shooter. It might, right? Like maybe there's a persona of new parents in there, maybe there's a persona of another type of users that the baby food company wants to get to, but in general it's probably not brand suitable. You don't want to see like a happy baby food, like, and then the next screen is like, a headshot from a first-person shooter type of game. Like that's not brand suitable. And so that kind of layers on top, where like brand safety is more overarching, and brand suitability becomes a little bit more specific. And for gaming, like I said, like it's better because right off the bat, whether it's crawling through the description of the game, whether it's using AI to look at the screenshots on the App Store, to release the genre of the game and the category of the game in the App Store, they can filter a lot at the beginning, and it's not really going to change, right? And that's a little bit different. And so we see right now, as the the increase in ad spend that I was talking about, and the strong signals of brands shifting their budgets in that direction, we see some of the biggest brands in the world, right? Amazon, Adobe, Meta, Cartier. A lot of luxury brands are starting to move into the space because they see success in the gaming side, because they can target the right types of personas that they think are going to buy their fancy watches. That's the only thing I know Cartier for, but maybe it's more than that. And we also see the biggest agencies in the world. So companies like ours work directly with the brands, but we also work directly with the agencies. And these agencies represent hundreds of brands, and it's a little bit easier to work with them. Where the agencies are also shifting more and more of their digital budget over to in-app, but again, we're specifically into gaming, because they realize that there's a lot of benefit there, where there's not as much competition for brands right now. As more and more brands start moving budget, there's going to be higher competition, and therefore, the prices are going to start becoming a little bit higher as we need to bid higher. They need to bid higher to win. So again, this is a short session. I want to leave a lot of time for questions, but basically, the four main takeaways that I wanted to mention of in-app gaming are the competitive advantages to working with brands, brand advertisers, brand networks, specifically brand networks, which I talked about is there's just so much more money flowing in the direction of gaming. The benefits for in-app gaming versus other environments are, again, the brand safety, right? The targeting that's available in terms of personas. We also have user experience. I talked about particular games that you see the ad over and over again. And as a gamer, like I still play Clash Royale every day. Doesn't have ads. I play Counter-Strike 2. Doesn't have ads. But like the games that I do test out that have ads, right? Seeing the same ad over and over again, it definitely takes away from the user experience. Like I do want to see something that is a little bit more targeted to me. Maybe a game that I want to download, but maybe something that I want to buy. Creative ads. So as opposed to seeing a playable ad that doesn't actually translate over to the game that you download. Brands have like creative studios at the agencies that they're working with that allow them to make really interactive ads, whether it's like a album scroller, whether it's a spinning wheel, whatever it may be. Brands are really able to take advantage of what gaming advertisers used to take advantage of. And then pricing. Look, now I'm not going to stand up here and tell you that brand agency or brand networks have the highest paying CPMs, and we're going to revolutionize your revenue. But what the title alluded to is like we're incremental, and we maximize the amount of incremental revenue that's available to you. So while brands typically don't pay as much as performance advertisers, especially on the UA side, what they do is provide unique demand. And so like maybe in countries that you're not filling, maybe at price points that your advertisers aren't bidding at, that's where brands can really kind of fill those gaps. And so whether it's 1%, 2% share of wallet at the end of the day for your total ad revenue, it's still incremental. It's still adding on top because it's advertisements that really weren't available to you before. And so yeah, I mean basically those are the 4 main takeaways for today. And that's it. But yeah, like to be honest, like Ogury isn't I would say the most known name on the gaming side of the business, right? There's Unity, there's Meta, etc. And so we wanted to talk about branding advertisement today, how it's changing, how it can add more revenue, and incremental revenue to your current ad monetization. But I also wanted to open up for questions to see if anybody had any questions about where brands are headed, what to expect. Yeah.
So, if I understand correctly, Ogury is some kind of programmatic platform that then you seek clients on the gaming side and then buy inventory there, or
like what Ogury is?
Yeah.
Oh, it's almost like I paid you to ask that question, but I didn't, which is great. No, so Ogury is a standalone ad network. We direct sell about 95% of our campaigns, and we have about 300 people globally across 24 offices as direct sellers to brands and agencies, and we're about a 600-person company. So half of our company is actually selling directly to the brands that come, and we upload it, and we act as an ad network in different mediation platforms that you choose, whether it's through Max or Level Play or whatever it is. We're basically like another adapting. We have an adapter in those companies to act as a bidder to kind of supplement your demand. We of course also have the option to do like custom OpenRTB integrations. Maybe you have like a proprietary format, and we want to fit these direct campaigns into it. But it's the benefit is we bring a lot of not BSing you. It's like these are really unique campaigns because we're picking up the phone and calling Coca-Cola Philippines, right? Or we're talking to Cartier, or we're talking to Volkswagen, Germany, but we're not talking to Volkswagen US. So like it's all really incremental campaigns you won't see, but to scale that is more difficult, and that's why we have 300 people, because we're just constantly signing IOs. Hey, your test flight's about to run, or your flight's about to run up. Do you run out? Do you want to do an evergreen campaign? And this is the price you're paying. So it almost is acting like advertising agency as an ad network piece. But we are doing double-digit million revenues for our top partners. So it's not like it's $1,000 here and $1,000 there. It really is incremental based on the type of we call them personas that have been built out in your users. Yeah.
My question is about your first slides, that there was a statement that 25% of the automotive audience spend in games.
Yeah. Sorry. So 25% of in-game. So for the automotive, they've increased that over the last year.
Okay.
So not all of their spend is 25% in game. It's increased 25% over the last year.
Yeah. My question was do we know any more further data in which type of game they spend this type of?
So we
make
do.
Good use of this platform for the.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great question, and again, thanks for asking questions that allow me to plug the company. But I mean, we do. So stuff that I didn't get into here of what Ogury does that's a little bit different is we call it zero-party data. And so when we run ad campaigns, whether it's across, I'll just tell you how the process works. Mercedes will come to us. Let's say we want a potential car buyer in X region, right? We actually run surveys, post-campaign surveys of all the other surveys that we're running, so like millions and millions and millions and millions of surveys. We pay for, it's like if we win the impression, we pay for it and run the survey. and we build out personas. Potential car buyer, tech traveler, stay-at-home mom, cooking person, etc. Right? And so then the automotive companies will come to us, and we know right now, like if I go on my computer, we know the types of genres and exact games that they're spending money in. You know, and so like if you come to me like, hey, we have these types of games, right? And we know the X percent, 50% of your users in this game is this persona. We'll shop that to the brand. It's like, hey, we have 20 million avails a week coming, or ad requests, or ad syncs, or bid requests, whatever you want to call them. We have that coming in. You know, do you want to increase your budget? Right? And they'll probably increase their budget a little bit, do a test run, see how it's going, and then, you know, increase 25%. You know, or they're like, oh, that inventory is maybe not what we're looking for right now. So are other companies doing this? I think we've heard some other companies are moving to like surveys, but that's how we're building out the personas that allow advertisers to target, right? We have a luxury division, we have an automotive division, a CPG division, and that's what really allows them to be, the brands to be successful. But it's not just us, like there are other brand companies that do similar things. Thanks for the questions. Anybody else? All right, well, hey. Hey, we're back. I'll start over again, all right, since this is a short one. No, wow, it's really loud. No, but thanks for the questions. We have a lot of the team here today. If you want to like ask any questions or just sync with us, if you're interested in brand advertising, like it really is. It's been really working. You know, like we're working with 8 of the top 10 most downloaded publishers last year. So even though again you're not doing $1 million a day with us, all the revenue that you're bringing in is incremental. So it's basically like free money, and it's not cannibalizing any sort of ads, you know, on the performance side or the rewarded video side. It's really just additive. And for me, that's a good sell. But you know, I'm the one that has to convince you. But yeah, thanks again. Thanks so much. Have a great conference. And yeah, see you all around.